Welcome back to Scrap Shack Farms 134, and welcome to the channel if you're new. In this video, we're doing Herb of the Week, which this week's herb is mint.
Hi, my name is Lucas.
And I'm Storm.
And I'm Jacob.
So the herb of the week this week is mint. Lucas, why don't you tell us a little bit about mint?
Well, one thing that, because there's a lot of wild mints, and mint is the only square-stemmed plant, and it's got like 10 leaves, like they're like jagged leaves, two thick jagged leaves, and they produce pink or white flowers.
There are many different varieties, and they're all very fragrant. So today we're going to go over how to plant mint, growing tips, as well as health benefits and uses of the different species. We'll also cover a few ways to use in recipes, beverages, and how to propagate and how to plant by seed.
Mint is very easy to grow, and it practically just grows by itself, and it's very invasive, so you want to make sure you usually want to put it in a pot because it spreads and can be very hard to maintain and keep in one spot. So putting it in pots is the best way to go. And there are approximately 24 species of mint, and it thrives in light soil with well drained and good drainage, and they do not like soggy, wet roots, so you don't want it too wet, but just moist and well drained. And they like partial shade, but different species vary. Some of them like full sun.
If you're going to grow it from a seed, you will need mint seeds, a plant tag, of course, and a container to start it in, like a 6-cell or 2-inch to 3-inch pot. Make sure that it has drain holes. And I'm going to let Jacob show you how to plant the mint seeds. So he's brought with him today a packet of mint seeds and a little pot with it's got drain holes in it. And the first thing is you'll do, and he's not going to wet the soil because of the fact that we don't want to wet the table, and we're doing this inside due to the weather. But he's going to show you how to plant the seeds. He will moisten the soil later. Normally, we wet the soil. We thoroughly soak it through with hot water, not boiling hot, just hot water. And what that does is by the time you plant the seed, the soil is warm. It's warmed the soil, and it aids in the germination of the seed. So I'm going to let Jacob show you how to plant that seed.
So the seed's just a very, very tiny black speckle type of seed. It's very hard to see, so I poured some on the table so that way I can grab one. And it says you want to plant it.
You're just going to plant it like 1/8 of an inch.
1/8 of the inch. 1/8 inch is usually you just would sprinkle some on the top, and you can sprinkle more dirt over the top of it. So that's usually the easiest way to plant things that are 1/8 inch into the ground. But you just want to drop the seeds. They're really tiny and hard to see, but once you get that, then you just would sprinkle light soil over it, because 1/8 of an inch isn't really that deep, so you don't want to bury them too deep because that can give them issues when they're germinating. And then now that they're planted, you'd want to moisten the soil, and usually warm water for the first time. You'd want the soil to be kind of warmish so that way it helps the seed pop.
And usually it takes 12 to 16 days to germinate, and you'll write on a plant tag like the species of mint and then the date sown. And the reason you do why the date is sown is so if it says 7 to 14 days, which on this it is 12 to 16, so if it's not up in by those 16 days, then it means that it was a bad seed and you need to replant it.
And once your mint is up, it will do best in partial sun. Once it's up and has 2 true leaves, you will thin them out, meaning transplant. And you'll thin them out into pots that normally are at least 1 foot wide, unless you're transplanting it into a raised bed. But these plants bush out, so you'll need to keep them 12 inches apart They usually grow up to 20 inches high.
And companions in the garden is mint does well with tomatoes, cabbage, and other brassicas. And brassicas are plants they do well in cold climates like your broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and other like cauliflower, things like that are brassicas. And you want to remember to keep your mint in a bucket, or you could put it in a sunken pot, which is pretty much just you put your mint in a pot and you can bury it like halfway up the bucket, so that way it still drains and gets good water, and it also gets some of the nutrients that is around the plant and in the normal dirt. And then it helps keep away cabbage moths and repels the white cabbage moth, which are very bad for all brassicas. And it helps grow the tomato, and it's good for the tomato. It helps it be greener.
If you're planting a mint you purchase, you'll plant it like 24 inches away from like any other mint plants. And if in a raised bed, specifically for mint plants, like one species per raised bed so that it don't cross-pollinate. Or again in like a 3 to 5 gallon bucket with drain holes, and keep the soil moist and not soggy, and keep it in like a partial sun place. And remember, it's best to put a thin layer of compost like on the surface.
And fertilizer you use is usually an organic fertilizer every few months, and that could be like just rabbit manure and different manures, and you could use normal, just different fertilizers that are just basically normal compost that helps with mint. And your frequent harvesting is key to keeping your mint plants at their best, because young leaves have way more flavor than older leaves.
And you can cut off sprigs that will keep fresh for a few days and put them in a little glass of cool water. You can also freeze your leaves or air dry in bunches. You can grow mint indoors in the winter for fresh leaves. In cooler months, it's best to cut these leaves before they flower. The best way to propagate mint is by taking a cutting. And you'll take a 6-inch cutting off the stems that are rooted, and you can place that cutting directly in soil, or you can also place them in a glass of water and place it in a sunny window. So I'm going to let Jacob show you where you would take a cutting from if he were going to take. This is a peppermint plant. And as you can see, what Lucas was talking about, all mint plants, and these are 2 different species of mint, but all of them have these like little jagged edged, tooth-edged leaves. So we're going to show you if he was going to take a cutting off of this, a root cutting, like a root stem. He wants to take it off a stem that has a root on it.
Yeah. This plant right here is one, since it comes straight from the ground, that's one of the plants you want to take and harvest from.
So you would cut about 6 inches from the top of the stem down, and just take a cutting and just place that in soil or water, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a peppermint. Right here, this is a peppermint. And this is just a basic mint plant. And we just did some cuttings off of him, so he's needing some, I don't know, he's been out in the sun a lot, and it's been very hot here and dry. But this is a basic mint plant. And as we said, there's very, very different varieties of mint. Actually, there's approximately 24 species that's used a lot, like in the culinary world. Let's see here. There's different varieties of mint, and some of those include what, Lucas?
Apple mint, citrus mint, pine apple mint, perennial mint, peppermint, and spearmint. Spearmints can be used in like making savory dishes and stuff. And also, spearmint is one of the best known species and is widely cultivated mints, and it's one of the oldest culinary mints.
And that means it was pretty much one of the first mints to be used in cooking and dishes, and it's native to the Mediterranean region, and it goes under a ton of different names, and you've probably heard some of them called by garden mint, mackerel mint, lady's mint, sage of Bethlehem, fish mint, or lamb mint. Its generic name is mentha, and in that comes from Greek mythology. And many of the mint species have the same health benefits and uses. For instance, strong antibacterial properties. It settles upset stomachs. It's used to relieve tensions and headaches, and you apply it to a compress of mint leaves to forehead, rubbing the oils into your temples, and the heals chafed hands and chapped hands and stimulates digestive system to aid in the digestion. So it's good for stomach problems, and some fancy restaurants will serve us peppermint sorbet prior to each large meal to give it kind of gets rid of all the food's flavor before, so that way your next dish you can have the full flavor and experience. And it improves your brain function, it relieves cold symptoms, and improves bad breath.
Peppermint is a hybrid mint, a cross between watermint and spearmint. It comes from Europe and the Middle East. Peppermint has been used to treat nausea, menstrual cramps, depression related to anxiety, muscle and nerve pain, IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome, diarrhea, common cold, and indigestion. The menthol in peppermint works as a decongestant, straightening swelling membranes in the nose, making it easier to breathe. It helps loosen muscles that collect, like mucus and stuff that collects in the lungs, and it also helps prevent sickness from coming in the first place.
Mint leaves also act as an astringent on the skin by helping to clear off your dead skin cells. And it cleans the pores and tones the skin naturally. Um, it promotes your skin to be a smoother and well hydrated tone. It retains the moisture in your skin by tightening your pores. Mint also helps by having the strong antibacterial properties. It contains a salicylic acid, both of which prevent acne. It also contains vitamin A, which controls secretions of oil. So people who have very oily or acne-prone skin, it helps them also. It also dries up and eliminates acne and while cleaning your pores. So if you have teenagers or even yourself, you're having issues with acne or whatever, mint is a great natural cure for it. It also helps reduce kidney stones. So maybe you got some kidney problems and you don't even want to have kidney stones. Well, use some mint and some teas and stuff, and it'll help you prevent those. You can make a face mask out of it by crushing the mint leaves, adding some honey and some rose water, mix it well, apply it to the face, leave on for 15 minutes, and then rinse off. Do this 3 times a week for clear skin. It also will help clear and heal up acne scars.
And mint has many uses, such as candy, chewing gum, perk up like pesto, add mint leaves to pesto to give it like a refreshing pop. Essential oils, fresh breath. It spices up salads. Mint leaves give fruit salad like a zing. It's an insect repellent, and if you want, you can place pots of mints. Ants hate it, and so do spiders and mosquitoes. And you can use it on you, you can rub it on your clothes or something if you're mosquitoes are bad in the area. And you can also use it in tea. You can boil mint leaves in water, strain it, use mint water in a spray bottle for mosquito repellent for humans and pets.
Spearmint or peppermint tea, you can serve it hot or iced, and the ingredients is 2 cups of water, 15 fresh mint leaves, 1 to 2 tablespoons or teaspoons of sugar or honey, 1 cup of ice.
That's optional.
Yeah, the ice is optional because some people drink hot tea or you can have it cold. And then 2 lemon slices, which are also optional. So bring the water to a boil, Remove the water from heat and add fresh mint leaves. Let it steep for 3 to 5 minutes and add an optional sweetener. If serving iced, fill a tall glass with ice and pour the tea over it. If you're serving it hot, pour your tea into a mug and garnish it with optional lemon slices. And peppermint can be used to soothe coughs and sore throat, so drink peppermint hot tea or make it steam bath. Add 3 to 4 drops of peppermint oil for every 5 ounces of hot water. Then cover then cover head plus pot with towel and breathe in the vapors. And that'll help get rid of your sore throat and open up your sinuses and ease coughing. So that's how you can use peppermint tea and waters.
There's a lot of different uses for mints, and there's so many different varieties. But this week we wanted to focus on mint because it's one of our favorites here at Scrap Shack Farms. We have various different uses for it, and we have a lot of people in our neighborhood and area that we live in that have reasons to use it. And it's so easy to grow, and you can grow it indoors, outdoors, any time of the year. So we hope that you really like this edition of Herb of the Week, and we hope you'll join us next time, which will be next week, for the new Herb of the Week. And we haven't decided that yet, but if you join us on Facebook or on YouTube and subscribe, we'll keep you updated and let you know what the next Herb of the Week is.
Give us recommendations of what herb of the week you think we should do in the comments, and give us a thumbs up and share and subscribe to Scrap Shack Farms 134. God bless.